How's it going, everybody? My name's Dave, and welcome to my channel, Colossus is Awesome. Today I'm going to do comic book haul number 2. This video is going to be fairly short compared to my previous 2 videos I've done so far. So without further ado, let's get to the haul. So first, I'm going to start off with my only slab that I'm going to show in the video. It is Captain America 241, and all I can say about this book is I love this cover. It features 2 of my favorite, not my favorite, but 2 of, I would say, top 5 of my favorite Marvel characters, Punisher and Captain America. And I just love this Frank Miller cover. It's super eye-appealing. And I picked this up already graded on eBay. And it's not an expensive book at all, but I picked it up for 18 bucks. And when you can pick up a slab for as much as it costs to get it graded, why not? So, it's nothing, not a big storyline. It just says Punisher appearance. 7.0 off-white to white pages. January of 1980. Yeah. Alright. So this next book I actually picked up over the weekend at a local flea market. And I'm pretty pumped that I got this. I paid $1 for it. It was in a dollar bin. I don't even have a back and board yet, and I'll show you why. I have Marvel Preview presents. Let's see. Well, it's number 4. You guys can probably. All right, that's not gonna work. So I'm just gonna hold it. Alright, so this is the first appearance of Star-Lord. So for all of you Guardians of the Galaxy nuts, it's a magazine-style book, so it will not fit in a typical bag and board. And after I found this for, no joke, $1, I went to my local comic book store, and they did not have any bags and boards, so it's something I'm probably gonna have to pick up on eBay. And for it not, it was just with a whole bunch of other magazines. It is still in pretty good shape. I mean, I'm surprised it looks actually this nice. One thing I will say, this book is restored. Some person in one point or another, there's like whiteout. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let's see. There was with these magazine style books, you typically get a lot of spine tears. I really don't know if that's showing up too much, but anywho, that's whiteout, and it looks like there's like some sort of like tape at the 2 corners here. But other than that, it presents pretty well, and I really don't care too much if a book is restored or not, as long as I'm not paying I guess not restored prices. But for $1, I've been on the lookout for this book for quite a while. It's one of the cheaper, I think, out of the Marvel Preview magazines. The second one features the Punisher in his standalone, I guess, story. 4 is the first appearance of Star-Lord, and 7 is a little bit more expensive than this one. That features the first appearance of Rocket Raccoon. So, yeah, definitely a cool magazine to have in your collection. So, cool. Alright, so this next one I've definitely been on the prowl for quite a while. It is Silver Surfer number 4, and it's a pretty good condition. I would say it's probably pretty good for me. I'd say it's about a 4.0. With these type of giant size books, it's really hard to get them in really good condition, especially with just the way the spine is with these big books. The binding is a little bit different too. You have like the staples that are along here, so sometimes, when people stack books, a lot of the pressure, if they're on top of them, will actually cause the staple to poke through the actual cover on these giant size books. But I picked this up for a pretty good price. I think I paid $105, which I think it's expensive, but I've definitely seen them going for much more. I've heard things of how this has like a low print run. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's definitely an iconic cover. I love this Thor and Silver Surfer, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, so that was one of my pickups for the past 2 weeks. And all right, these next books I'm going to show you were all right, hold on. More. All right. So the next book is Uncanny X-Men 221, and this is the first full appearance of Mr. Sinister. And it's in pretty good condition. I would say it's in a VF plus to a near mint minus. I have 2 copies of this one. I picked this up at the flea market that I went to over the weekend as well. It was in one of the like $2.50 or $3 bins or whatever they had, and yeah, so that was. And as you can tell, I'm a huge X-Men fan, so I tend to buy anything I can get my hands on that has the X-Men, anything to do with it. So yeah, it's pretty nice colors. I don't think this is a fairly. I think it's like an 88 or 87 book, late 80s. So it looked pretty good. It had a bag, but it didn't have a board in it. So I'm surprised how well it kept its comic form without a board. But yeah. All right. So these next books I purchased. It was one of my late night eBay purchases. It was a comic book lot. So I will start off with, this is Bone number 10. This is a first printing. For anyone who hasn't actually read Bone, it was an independent comic book made by Jeff Smith in the early 90s. I think 91 or 1990. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure it's 91. And it's really hilarious. It's definitely a good read. It's completely different than your typical superhero comic books, but I definitely recommend it. I think they reprinted them like I think 10 times because it was so popular in the 90s. But if you haven't got a chance to read it, you can pick up like the condominium style type like books that have the whole complete story. I think it ran from like 91 to 97 or 98, or I could be wrong completely. I'm just making that up, but it was on for quite a while, and this series still gets pretty good hype too from fans. So yeah, so it's Bone 10. One thing I will say is every single one of these books that I'm about to show you, they had a sticker not on the plastic, but actually on the comic itself. So I did take a blow dryer and looked up how to remove. This one came out pretty well, but some of them still have a little of the sticker residue. So if anyone has suggestions on how you can remove without further damaging the book, that'd be great. So definitely post a comment, and I'm always looking for some advice. But yeah. All right, here's bone number 9. And this one had a sticker as well, and it came off. This one came off pretty easy, pretty good condition. I would say most of these books that I'm about to show you, they're probably in the fine to the F minus, so not in the best grade, but for the price I picked up for the lot, I have no issues with the grade. So. Alright, here's bone number 8. And this one you can probably, I don't know if you can see it through the, but it's kind of hard to tell, but there's definitely the sticky residue plastic on it, but yeah. Alright, bone number 7. And these are all first printings that I'm showing you. Alright. This one you could probably see a little bit better. It's a little bit of darker blue. Yeah. Alright, bone number 6. Alright, this one you can see a little bit better because it's the off-white. But, yeah. Alright. And, let's see, bone number 5. And this one, I guess kind of sucks because it would be in really nice shape. But, yeah, I couldn't get the rest of this one off. This one still has a sticker residue on it. And yeah, that's not on the plastic, that's on the actual book itself. But still pretty cool to have. They're good reads. Alright, bone number 4. Same thing with this one. It's got some of sticker residue on it. Definitely could use another round of the heat, and I've been using my fingernail. I can't really try to use tweezers, but those didn't really work out too well. Alright. Bone number 3. This one, luckily, is in pretty good shape, and it came out for the most part. You can see it's still there, but it's, it's less, present than the other books. Alright. Alright, bone number 2. This is a second printing, I believe. This is not a first. This is the only one of the ones I just showed you guys that is not a first printing. This one came off relatively easy. This is the only one I actually didn't have to use any heat, and of course it was the second printing that that one had. But alright, finally, yes, people, bone number 1. And this is a pretty rare comic book. It's an early 90s book, either 1990 or 91. This was reprinted multiple times. So if you open up to the splash page, it says bone number 1. If it was a second printing, it would say second printing. But the way you could easily tell is it's the same picture, but bone, it's in a different color through like printing 1 all the way up to, I think, like, I don't know, printing 5 or 6, or there could be more printings. I really don't know. But this, again, it had the sticker right here, but luckily this one I spent the most time, and I was able to get that one off, and there's very minimal residue left, so this probably could definitely use another hair dryer and try to get the rest of it off. But at this point, I don't want to further damage the book at all. Happy the way it turned out. Now this is definitely probably say, like, I hope a 7.0. I'm going to get this one graded. I don't know if I'm going to keep this one for my collection or sell it to get something else. But I picked up bone 1 through 10, all first prints except for bone number 2 for I believe $1.99, which I think is a pretty good price. I mean, this book is expensive if it's in near mint condition. This is by far from near mint. I would say, between a 6 and a 7, I would say this is. It has some spine ticks across, and I did press this, so the pressing made it look, present much better, but still not in, a very fine plus to a near mint range. There's corner color breaks. They're rounded, and then there's like 8 spine ticks along the side, and of course there was a sticker thing that I got out for the most part, which I was super happy about. On the back of this cover, which is pretty good if I send it into grading, it's a black cover, so typically when you have a lot of spine ticks, black presents, you can tell if a comic book is in near mint very quickly if you have a black cover, just because it's much more noticeable. The back cover is actually really nice. The corners are sharp, and there isn't any, these spine ticks only appear in the blue, not so much in the black, a little bit, but not as much as the front. But yeah, overall I'm pretty happy I picked this up. This is a super rare comic, so and it's I can't say again, it is a really good read, so I suggest, like, if anyone who hasn't read the story, definitely read it. It's really funny. So, and then the last comic book I picked up. Alright, without further ado, I've been on the search for this one for probably about 3 years now, and the prices on these ones have just been skyrocketing, and I'm definitely happy with the price I paid, just because I don't see the price decreasing anytime soon. But without further ado, Iron Man 55, and this is primarily, most people know it as the first appearance of Thanos, but along with that, I think there's 4 or 5 other first appearances, so this book has a lot going for it. It's the first appearance of Drax the Destroyer, the Blood Brothers. I want to say there's another appearance from someone else, but I can't think of it on the top of my head. But I think this book definitely has 5 first appearances. So I super happy with the condition. It presents much nicer than it is. I'd probably put this at a 5.0 to a 6.0, mainly because on the back there's a like a 1/4 inch, I I don't know if it's like Marvel chipping. I don't even think that, this is a Bronze Age book, so like, but it's like it's not like a triangle, like a corner. It's like over here on the back, and it's like missing kind of like a weird like circle rectangle type thing at the top. So I think immediately that brings it out of the very fine category. But I still think it would qualify as like a fine plus. So I would think probably between a 6.0, 6.5. I mean, the front, this presents really well. It's got not sharp corners, but nice corners, good spine. It's got a little bit of that I don't know what you would call that. I mean, misrep maybe. I don't think this is considered a spine roll. I think it's a misrep, but correct me if I'm wrong, guys. But yeah, I'm super happy I picked this book up, and the price I paid for it makes me even more happy, I guess. I paid $2.60 for this book, I believe, and I've seen it was a buy it now or best offer, and I want to say it was like $6.50 or best offer, and I got lucky. In all honesty, I really don't know how I got this book for that price. I swear this doesn't happen often. I think it happened in my last two, this video and my last video, but that never actually happens. But yeah, I paid under $300 for this book, and this book has just been skyrocketing. And unlike, there's a few books out there that are going for crazy money that I don't understand why they're going for crazy money. This book is, when you have 5 first appearances, and, in my opinion, I think he's in my top 5 favorite Marvel villains. And, yeah, so I think the cover is pretty cool. I mean, I wish Thanos was on the cover, but this is a pretty cool cover. But yeah, so that will conclude my comic book haul, guys. Thanks for watching, and as always, subscribe, and I'll keep on making videos. All right, happy hunting, guys. Take care.